Hey everybody, and good Friday evening to you. Ready to geek out on some weather as we head into this first weekend of July. Of course, for a lot of people, it's a long weekend with the 4th of July yesterday. And today, on this 5th day of the month, another very sticky day out there. It wasn't excessively hot. In fact, it was pretty much right on target for our temperatures, at least our high temperatures at this time of the year. 83 is our average high on today's day. That's notable because from now through almost the very end of the month, our average high is 83, and then it starts going the other direction. We start losing degrees on the seasonal averages as we go into the month of August. But 83 from now through almost the end of July is our average high. We did 84 today. Of course, a very warm start to the day at 68 this morning. Our average low is 60 at this time of the year. Now, at the airport, we've picked up 0.42 over the last couple of days, but you know how this goes in the summer. Some of us have had a lot more than that over the last 48 hours. There's been some radar totals, both radar estimated and some rain gauges, thanks to everyone who's been chiming in with their totals on social media. We've seen some 2-3 plus inch amounts over the last 48 hours, especially around the 224 corridor, Berlin to Ellsworth, parts of the Canfield area. The East Palestine area did very well. 2-3 inches of rain. Even as far north as around Sharon, amounts have gotten over 2 inches in some places, but the farther north away from Interstate 80 you go, the lower the amounts have been over the last couple of days. Now, we're not going to add much to those totals this evening. As of this recording at 6:45, we had a couple of showers up near Mesopotamia, Bloomfield, down towards Southington as well, but it's not much. We do have a Scrappers home game this evening with some fireworks again after the game, and I'm not going to be able to rule out some showers around for that. And anybody who's trying to do anything outdoors over the next couple of hours, I don't think we'll have the downpours that we've had at times over the last couple of days. I don't think lightning and thunder is even all that likely, but a few showers are going to try to cross the area for the rest of the daylight hours, up until about midnight or so this evening. Our cold front is off to the north and west. Now, at this time of the year, a cold front can be kind of a misnomer. There's no cold air associated with this front, but there is a dew point change, certainly, on the other side of this front. Now, it's not the kind of really, really super crazy comfortable air mass we had a few days ago at the beginning of the week, but this more comfortable air mass will make inroads by tomorrow afternoon, wiping out the upper 60s to around 70 degree dew points and putting us more in the 50s to around 60. And that will make a big difference for how it feels outside as we go into our Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. In the meantime, Beryl is a tropical storm for now, but this could very well re-strengthen back into a hurricane as it encounters some pretty favorable conditions, at least in terms of the water temperatures over the Gulf of Mexico. There is some wind shear aloft that this will be fighting, but Beryl has kind of exceeded expectations in its entire life cycle, fighting off some unfavorable conditions aloft and still maintaining a lot of strength. In fact, this, of course, a few days ago was a Category 5 storm. Now, Beryl is looking more and more like it's going to make landfall in Texas as opposed to eastern Mexico. So the center of the cone now is up towards Corpus Christi, Texas, with a landfall probably late Sunday into Sunday night. But on the outer sides of this cone, as far east as Houston, Galveston, that's a possibility. As far west as deep south Texas around Brownsville, Texas, that's a possibility. But the most likely scenario is this makes landfall as a hurricane, maybe around Corpus Christi, Texas, Sunday night into Monday morning. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Beryl's moisture as we head into next week. Some of our modeling does suggest that while the highest confidence is down here, it remains a possibility that some moisture from Beryl will come up through the Mississippi and perhaps even Ohio Valley midweek. Does that mean we're going to see, tropical storm force conditions or anything like that around here? No, but some raindrops technically associated with Beryl could, what's left of that system may interact with a front to bring us some rain chances during midweek. Now, the raindrops are not going to have little bees on them indicating they're right from Beryl, but it is a possibility that indirectly we may have a few impacts from Beryl during midweek around here. Stay tuned for that. Of course, we have the Trumbull County Fair coming up next week, and that fair has a reputation for rain, but it happens in July, and mid-July thunderstorms are pretty frequent around here, so it's for good reason that it oftentimes at least rains a little bit for the Trumbull County Fair. So that'll be something we'll be keeping an eye on. But in the near term, wow, what a nice summer evening we have coming our way Saturday, with the dew points backing off into the lower 60s, even upper 50s, and we'll be in that same neighborhood in terms of those dew points on Sunday. Now, there will be an increase in fair weather clouds for a time Saturday afternoon, maybe even a sprinkle up towards Lake Erie and up towards Buffalo Saturday afternoon. But otherwise, just great weather for the vast majority of our Saturday. It'll be clear Saturday night, and we're looking for a good deal of sunshine Sunday before this warm front pushes in by Monday, and that will usher in some upper 80s to around 90 for daytime highs kicking off next week. A few long-range thoughts here. This is today's outlooks from the Climate Prediction Center. This is the 6 to 10 day, the 8 to 14 day, and the weeks 3 and 4 outlook. The temperatures are up top. A lot of red and orange on these temperature maps. I think for a lot of July and even into early August perhaps, the heat is going to be centered in the west, but it's almost a coast-to-coast warm pattern. Even though the highest or the biggest temperature anomalies may be over the Intermountain West, we're going to have no shortage of warm, if not hot days around here. In terms of precipitation, now, of course, we've had some rain, quite a bit of rain in some places over the last couple of days. But region-wide, when we're looking at the region as a whole, it's still fairly dry. And so we could certainly use more rainy periods. We'll see what happens next week with Beryl's moisture, but in the medium and longer range, you don't see a lot of deep greens on this map across our region, but it also does not look like an abnormally dry pattern in the grand scheme of things for the rest of July and early August, with a dry pattern more likely out here across the Plain States, and that's actually good news for them. It's been a very wet spring and summer in the Corn Belt and up towards Minnesota, into parts of the Dakotas as well, so a little bit of a drier pattern would be welcome news for them. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Friday evening and all week long, including on the 4th of July yesterday. I'll see you back here on Monday. We'll be talking about perhaps some moisture from Beryl and the rest of July's outlook in next week's editions of Weather for Weather Geeks.